President Trump's decision to pull out of the Iran nuclear deal may have been a blow to the international agreement, but the accord is actually still very much alive. A virtual meeting of what some call Iran Plus 5 group is taking place today, and with Joe Biden stepping in as president in just a little over a month, many expect that the U.S. will soon return to its seat at that table. RT's Alex Mihailovich has the story.
6 countries, one goal: to push forward the Iran nuclear deal. Unlike this in-person meeting last year, Iran and mediators from Russia, China, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom are meeting virtually this time around for the regularly scheduled sit-down. The task at hand: preserving the deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The JCPOA was signed in 2015, an agreement in which Iran promised to dismantle its nuclear program while fully cooperating with the International Atomic Energy Agency in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions on the Middle Eastern nation. However, in May 2018, the U.S. unilaterally withdrew from the deal, citing reasons unrelated to Iran's nuclear program. Soon after, the Trump administration restored sanctions on the country against the advice of America's European allies. But things are different now, and there is hope that the United States will once again take its place at the table. In fact, President-elect Joe Biden, who will become the leader of the free world in just over a month, has said that the U.S. returning to the JCPOA is the best way to avoid a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. Along with his team, Biden is eager to reverse many of Donald Trump's isolationist policies and get back into the international game.
It's a team that will keep our country and our people safe and secure. And it's a team that reflects the fact that America is back, ready to lead the world, not retreat from it. Once again, sit at the head of the table, ready to confront our adversaries and not reject our allies, ready to stand up for our values.
While many have fears that this means the United States will enter new military adventures, when it comes to the Iran deal, some see it as good news. The leadership in Iran also seems optimistic.
If the U.S. comes back and makes up for its past mistakes, and Mr. Biden's next government comes back to 2017 conditions, we will be fully back to our commitments, and we will have no problem.
Iran has scaled up its uranium enrichment program since the U.S. left the deal. However, the country has shown an eagerness to fully re-implement the original agreement, in what might cause a problem. Word is that President-elect Joe Biden wants to renegotiate the accord, and that may be a tough pill to swallow for Iran, especially after the assassination of a senior nuclear scientist in that country, the steady hardening of sanctions by the Trump administration before it leaves office, and of course, the killing of a top Iranian general by a U.S. airstrike. Here's the daughter of Major General Qasem Soleimani in an exclusive interview with RT's Going Underground.
He was the guest of Iraqi people. They invite him to help them. How they dare to kill an official general of a country? They kill it easy, and they said, we kill it and we proud.
While the Trump administration has created a number of hurdles to get the deal back on track, Iran and the 5 other nations participating in the latest round of talks have shown determination to have the agreement fully implemented once again. With Joe Biden showing a willingness to bring America back into the mix, the job just might get done in the near future. For RT, I'm Alex Mihailovich.
Concerning Iran, let's bring in former UK MP George Galloway. So, George, there's Great Britain, China, Russia, France, and Germany all urging Tehran to return to the JCPOA table by going back to abiding by the terms of the agreement. But we have not yet heard the same call for the U.S. to do so as well. What do you make of that?
Although that must be happening sotto voce, because of course Iran cannot, why would it be expected to, return to the terms of a deal that the US has wrecked, and then set about imposing siege conditions on Iran that are literally killing, significant numbers of people, even in the time of the coronavirus. They are deliberately blockading essential medical equipment and medicines that the Iranian people badly need. So the mood music is encouraging, though, Manila. The interview that President-elect Biden gave today was an encouraging one. He said that it would be far better and it was the best way, and so on. And the Iranian response was equally encouraging. They're not demanding compensation or anything like that. They are saying they will comply again if the United States returns to the deal and the sanctions that the US has imposed are lifted. And the foreign minister of Iran even went a little further. He said that further negotiations on the deal are possible, bringing in, for example, Iran's neighbors in the Persian Gulf could be also considered. And so that table would get, if you like, even bigger, even rounder. So at least on the Iranian front, there are reasons to be optimistic as we approach Christmas.
Now, George, you mentioned a couple of things there that I'd like to touch on. For example, with the president-elect Joe Biden, with his incoming administration, we know Joe Biden was part of the Obama administration who brokered this deal. Does that then give you hope that this deal can be revived and brought back to the status it was just 4 years ago?
It does, but there will be siren voices seeking to add extraneous questions to a rejoining of the JCPOA. I see them in the U.S. publications even today. Iran's role in its allies in Yemen, in Lebanon, and so on. If these kind of things are brought onto the table, it will go nowhere. There'll be no resumption of the status quo ante. Iran is a big power with a big regional reach. It has a heavy religious soft power in the world. It's not going to agree to end that. It's not going to turn away from Syria, for example, which is one of the demands that we sometimes see floated in the cyber sphere by more hawkish elements. But if Joe Biden sticks to what seemed to be his instinct on Iran, at least, maybe not on other things, then there are reasons to be optimistic.
And last, George, our friends at RT UK is going underground, Afshin Rotanzi. We played a clip just a moment ago. He got an exclusive interview with the daughter of the slain General Qasem Soleimani. What were your thoughts on that? She mentioned the fact that her father was on Iraqi soil, but it seems now that the information is showing that the Iraqis were warned that America was going to attack that location.
It's very dangerous new development, that news. The interview is quite a coup by my colleague Afshin, and everyone should watch it. It's very moving, very dignified, everything that the mother of her father was not. Here was a diplomat traveling on a diplomatic passport on a peace mission at the invitation of a foreign government on whose territory he was then savagely murdered. When we look back at the Trump era, we will say that this was one of the most ghastly crimes, and in time, I hope not, but ghastly blunders that backfired so considerably. As this young woman said, her father was the destroyer of ISIS, and we killed him. Just go figure that, Manila.
Yeah, it's still hard to explain all these months later. George Galloway, always appreciate your insight. Thank you for joining.